Welcome back. In today's episode, we'll be reviewing a dividend-paying company that we recently added to this portfolio. I'm always excited for the addition of a new holding since it doesn't happen very often, so stick around and I'll explain this one to you. Alright guys, we usually start this show off with a portfolio update, but today we're just going to give you the current value, $379.72, because I think it's important that we jump right into this. I want to really talk about Atmos Energy. That's the new holding that I've added to this portfolio, and a lot of you guys have probably never heard of this company. So I think it'd be a good idea to talk about just the qualitative side and then do some quantitative analysis into their financials and then talk about who they are. So let's get started about who Atmos Energy is. So Atmos Energy is a natural gas distributor and they operate in the states of Colorado, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Mississippi, Tennessee, Texas, and Virginia. Now they're the largest natural gas distributor in the states of Texas, Louisiana, and Mississippi. But something that I find interesting about Atmos is that they have some huge clientele, especially in the state of Texas. They say we provide natural gas to the DFW Airport, AT&T Stadium, plus notable landmarks such as Fort Hood Military Base, SMU, Baylor, and Texas A&M. But if you look down here, they also supply natural gas to Texas Tech, and they have a big supply to the large agriculture and livestock business, which is huge in Texas. So just going to their company website, you can find this. I found this is a little bit old, but it says that distribution makes up only 67%. So their pipelines and their heating and all of that. And then they have pipeline and storage, which makes up 33% of their estimated net income. So they are a little bit diversified and they don't just rely on providing gas, right? So let's take a look at their CEO here. And I think this is important and it tells a lot about this company. So he went to Alabama and then he was in 1989, 1991, he was a senior gas engineer. So he was out in the field doing stuff. And then from 97 to 2001, he was the vice president for the Kentucky division. And then he went over to the Mississippi division, and he was over in the Louisiana division. And then he served as the president of the Kentucky division, and he was also the president of the Mississippi division. And then he was the senior vice president. And then in 2019, he was eventually named CEO. So what I think is cool about this is that he's a guy who went from literally in the trenches to now he is running the company. So he knows this company, 30 years of experience with them, from the bottom to the top and now from the top down. So I think that's a really good move for them. He was hired in October of 2019. And now we're going to get into a little bit of their qualitative side where we can take a look at their 5-year. And they were really trending. If we look at the max, they were really trending up, right? And when he gets hired in October, they kind of had this little downturn here, and then it kicks up, and COVID happened, and they went through this really low period of just ups and downs, but they were really down, and they've rebounded very nicely. Okay, so in his third year, he brings them back up. They had this little low point, but for the most part, they've been staying pretty steady. And why I think that's important is because this is a CEO that was just hired. He's on his, 4th year, and he's starting to show what he can do and what this company's all about. And now they're going to start adding even more pipeline and with more houses. So this is interesting to me. With more houses, the more gas lines go in. So there's so much growth that is to be had here. If you look up what cities are building the most homes, I already knew the answer. It's DFW, Dallas, Fort Worth, and Arlington. They're building so many homes. And then the second is down in Houston, the Woodlands, and all that. So Texas is absolutely exploding, building all these houses everywhere. So that only means that there's going to be more. If we go over back to this map here, I can maybe zoom in a little bit and show you guys. This is the current map. If you know Texas, where this light area is, where my mouse is, there's not a lot of houses here. It's really just all rural area. And they're starting to build up here. So there's going to be a lot of growth to be had for Atmos Energy. They're going to be adding a lot of customers. And what we were just looking at with the addition of all these new houses, there's going to be a lot of natural gas pipelines that are going to be formed for these new houses, these new communities. And I don't know if you guys know how they throw up houses in Texas. They throw them up one community at a time. They'll throw up 1,000 houses in one neighborhood. So let's look at their financials. They currently pay a 2.52% dividend yield. The stock is currently listed at 116.25. They have a PE ratio of 19.40, which is really good. I like that. So they're checking all the boxes so far. I like what they did qualitative, and so far they're doing it for me with the quantitative. Let's see what they're doing with their total revenue. I like to see it consistently increasing. They had this huge monster year in 2014, and then they got more realistic here and started to grow, slowed down a little bit, growing. I think it's an ever-growing company either way. Their net income, pretty much the same story here, just keeps growing. They had that one period, and then it just keeps growing. Let's take a look at their payout ratio. Payout ratio always hovers around 50. I don't think that's terrible. I don't mind it in between 30 and 50, but once it starts getting over 50, 55, they're getting a little bit too much. So they're checking all the boxes here, guys. They're checking all the boxes. Let's look at their dividends. So their dividend safety, Seeking Alpha thinks they have the ability to continue paying the current dividend amount. That's really good news. Let's look at their dividend history. They've raised their dividend for 38 years consecutively. That's pretty good, guys. That's what we're looking for. This is dividend growth, right? So let's look at their 10-year. If you guys have been following the channel, this is exactly what we like to see. This nice increase right here. That's what we're looking to see. They're at 278 today. That's not even today. That's 2021. We'll go to 2013. They were at $1.41. So that's exactly what we like to see there, guys. So overall, actually, let's take a look at their peers. I think this would be pretty good to look at too. I haven't looked at this yet. So these are all, so two of these are familiar companies for me, but this one right here, they have a lot of employees. UGI, they have a lot of employees. National Fuel and Gas. So they're all basically a third of the market cap of what Atmos is, and Atmos is killing them in enterprise value. This is actually pretty interesting. So UGI has a market cap of $5 billion, their enterprise value $12 billion, but they have 10,000 employees. Atmos is doing it with nearly 5,000 employees. They have half the employees. And that's pretty crazy to me. Let's see what UGI is. Oh, they're at risk of performing badly. So there you go. There you go. Let's see if any of these other ones are. I don't think any of these. I'm not going to get into this now, guys. If you guys want to go look at this, just go to Seeking Alpha, go to their peers, and you can take a look. I won't get too far into this. Let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at the max. So New Jersey, yeah, they were killer back in the day. They started to slow down. There's not much to build over there. This comes back to the building, guys. This comes back to the building. They had so much housing to build in New Jersey, New York, all that. So obviously they were killing it. This was probably from, yeah, they had so much housing to build. It's very expensive to heat your house. Very expensive in New Jersey, New York. I bet you they provide a little bit of Philly too. Not as expensive in Texas. Just going to be more growth. So you see how the New Jersey one's all the way up here already. This Atmos one's going to go, it's going to meet them further out, it's going to consistently grow. I think Atmos is going to be a great company to invest in. So here's a little bit of their stats here. You can take a look at that, and I'm going to sign off. So thanks, guys.